All right, New York Jet fans, it is Wednesday, October the 22nd. We got a whole bunch of news items. First off, Frankie from Flatbush reporting from Flatbush headquarters. We got the FSBN ticker up ahead. That is live. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments section down below. Now, first of all, we had Aaron Glenn press conference. He refuses to name a starting quarterback. He says gives him a strategic advantage against the Bengalis. I'm sure they're shaking in their boots, not knowing whether it's Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor. Oh boy. I tell you, I don't know if it gives us a strategic advantage, but it might. I don't know if it gives us any advantage at all. So we don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be. We have a strategic advantage. All right. Second, then Aaron Glenn got peppered with a million questions about Woody Johnson's comments. And this is what I told you guys yesterday. The media was not going to let this go. They asked him 100 questions about this today. They even repeated questions. The guy asked him the same question. Two questions later, Connor Hughes asks the same question. They were not going to let it go. They had their narrative. We talked about narrative flows yesterday. They had their narrative. They're not going to let it go. And they were pounding him. I thought Glenn responded pretty well, actually, considering how he's been with the media. Not always the best. So I thought he did okay, but you saw them just pound. And then after that, they pounded Justin Fields with the question. I thought Justin did well also. I really do, on a personal note, wish Justin Fields would be better at football. He just seems like a great guy. He's very smart. And he just can't put it together as far as being an NFL quarterback. But again, it is very, very difficult to do, even with all of the great skills that God has given Mr. Fields. Even with all those, he just can't do it to the level of being a franchise quarterback, or so it seems so far. Anyway, and it's sort of a shame because I really do like Justin Fields, from what I could tell. I really do like Justin Fields as a human being, but as a football player, not getting it done. My guess would be we are going to go with Tyrod Taylor, and maybe we have a package or two for Justin Fields to run some zone reads. Maybe that's what they're thinking about doing. It's mostly Tyrod, and then we'll just bring Justin in to run some zone reads. We only run about 3, 4, 5 zone reads per game anyway. Maybe they just are going to throw a changeup at the Bengals that way. Like I said, I'm sure they're shaking in their boots about it. Now, the other thing, Jermaine Johnson late this afternoon came out and put out a GIF of Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street in that famous scene where he says, I'm not leaving, and everybody goes crazy, and I'm not effing leaving. Remember that? So that's all he put out. We don't know what it's about, what's going on, but it could be in response to the trade rumors. Maybe Jermaine has been told, look, you're one of our building blocks. We're not moving you. But I don't see any other reason why he would put out an I'm not leaving meme. So that's good news. I mean, we should keep Jermaine Johnson. There's no doubt about it. The only problem with Jermaine has been the injury history. But then again, we play on AstroTurf, so we're always going to have more injuries than normal. Now, speaking of injuries, we also do have the injury report. Ahmad Gardner and Kene Nwangu were at DNP today. That is expected in the concussion protocol. The key will be tomorrow. If they're still at DNP tomorrow, then they're likely, almost certainly, to be out on Sunday. If they're out of the protocol, meaning they can practice either limited or full tomorrow, then they're on track to play, and it just depends on if there's any further symptoms, which does sometimes happen. But if they practice tomorrow, then they're looking good for Sunday, but no guarantee. Garrett Wilson was a DNP today. It looks like he's going to be out. We don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he practices at all this week. Obviously, if he has 3 DNPs, he'll be out and then take the bye and come back strong after that. Brees Hall is limited, but should be fine. Jermaine limited with an ankle, probably also fine. Looks like Stiggers is getting better because he was LP today with his hip. And Tyrod was LP limited with the knee. But the reporters said in the early part of practice that Tyrod was practicing. And remember, if the trainers touch you or do anything with you, you got to go on the injury report. So it looks like Tyrod will be fine. Michael Carter should be cleared. He was full today. He was 3 FPs last week and then was out mysteriously. But obviously, and we thought maybe that means he's being traded. But he didn't get traded, at least not yet. So it seems like Carter should be clear this week, I would think. And then the other big news, Quincy Williams makes his return to practice and was full today. And they did show some video of him, and he looked like he wasn't favoring anything. He has a shoulder, so hard to tell. But he was doing everything that the other dudes were doing. So, and since he was a full practice today, I would think, barring anything unusual, he'll probably be back for the game on Sunday, which is great news because it kind of seems like Kiko Mauigoa could have a role on this team. But maybe the role is like the third, the rundown. When we think they're running, we're in our base 4-3. He comes in as the third linebacker, and he's sort of like the thumper. We got 2 runners, basically. I mean, Quincy's both, but you got a runner in Sherwood. You got a run thumper in Quincy. They're our main 2. And then you bring in the other guy, Kiko, to be a thumper. That could be a good threesome. And depending on how Quincy plays and depending on what Muji and AG want to do they want to extend him? Do they want to trade him? Is he part of what we're doing going forward? We'll have to see. But good news in any event to get Quincy back. And that's about it as far as all of the news for the Jets. It's going to be a very interesting time as we look forward because we're going to have to make a lot of decisions about who to trade and who not to trade. They also added defensive back JT Woods to the practice squad. They lost Corey Black, who we called up a couple of times this year from the P squad, but the Giants wanted to sign him back to their 53-man. That's where he came from originally. So they got their 7th-round pick back, unfortunately. Well, what are you going to do? And we signed JT Woods to the practice squad just to fill up the P squad. We also signed back Fatorma Mulba, if you remember him, back to the P squad earlier in the week, and he's a defensive lineman. So we now have 3 defensive linemen on the P squad that we could call up. Jay Tufele looks like he's probably not going this week. So between Peyton Page, Eric Watts, or Mulba, one of them will get a call up if I had to guess. Probably Peyton Page, but I don't know. Who knows? So that's all the news that's fit to print for this Wednesday, October 22nd. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you next time.